sko, så tar vi så läs att det är en blandning av men först när du får lov till att ta din prestation så får du lov till att starta på engelska.
Ja, tack.
Men har kan säga att en snöröjningstjänst.
Snöröjningstjänst, ja, einmitt. Ja.
Kan du huska du skrev den artikeln skrev?
Ja, jag skrev den.
Har du kan? Ja. Men inte starta på måste du föreläsning. Men det här begreppet, varför sa du det? Varför har man sådana föräldrar också på Island?
Ja, det är för att när barnen ska aldrig handla sina saker själv. Och det var ett upplägg från den Morgonbladet. De ville snacka om föräldrar som gör allting för deras barn. Och att vi skulle hjälpa dem att evolve themselves.
Resiliens. Det var så stort att säga att snöröjning är tärnastan som tycktes här som curling. Så då kan man alltså spekulera här med snöröjning är tärnastan för våra barn. Ja, det var väldigt.
Ja.
Jag har sett det lite här.
Ja.
Ja, men nästa år.
Tack.
10 minuter.
Ja. God dag. Det är skeg att vara här samman med tycken idag. Och jag heter Hrefna Sigurjónsdóttir och är direktör till Heimilisskóla i Island. Men nu kan jag inte säga mycket mer på färska, så jag skiftar till engelska. Today I would like to tell you about the work of Home and School, the National Parent Association in Iceland, which has been around, lots of stuff, for 27 years. The work was started back in the 90s, and it has been a crucial part in the overall prevention work being done in Iceland. And as it says in the title, we believe that active parents help build better communities. And yeah, everything okay? Are you on as well? I had a malfunction with the wardrobe here before and the hair, and yeah, we have a saying in Iceland, fallir fara heill. I don't know if you understand it. If you fall, things will go well, so hopefully this will be super. Yeah, but we believe that parents, active parents and better schools and better communities, this all hangs together. So, oh yeah, I need the thingy to change the slides. Do you have the pointer? Tack. So, Home and School is an NGO, a national non-governmental organization with members from all school levels. We have individual parents as paying members, but we also have parent associations and schools themselves as active members in our organization. But we also are funded with a service agreement. We receive support from the Ministry of Education, Science and Culture. So we help all parents that come to us. They don't have to be members, but the member fee is more of a support. We have a board with 7 members and we have 5 employees at the service center. But we also have funding through a specific project called SAFT. It's a sort of a safer internet center. And it's supported by the European Union in half and 3 ministries in Iceland in half. So there are some various ways of funding, which can be a bit complicated, but also good to have various ways of income. So this is the Home and School team. We are 5 persons working at the office with the Home and School project and the Safer Internet project. And here you can see the people working there, but also our chairman, Sigurjónsdóttir. She's there in the red sweater. And I don't know what guy this is behind, some dude photobombing. But yeah, maybe he'll come to work with us sometime. We always need more people. But we offer counseling during office hours, and we do nationwide campaigns. We publish various educational material. And we also have representatives in various committees and are often consulted in media. So our voice is being made heard in the community, and we have given parents a platform for their voice to be heard and for their concerns to be made public as well. But also we make public resolutions. For example, not long ago, we were talking about security at schools. Although we want them to be open, we don't want anyone to come in there, because there was a case in Iceland where a crime was committed and came into the school unannounced. And also we were talking about that we wanted people who were coming to the schools, giving lectures and seminars, we wanted them to be validated in some way, so that not anyone can just come into the school with any kind of lectures. And we have, as I said, this board of 7 members from all over the country, and they meet up regularly. So here's an overview of the education system in Iceland. It's divided into 4 levels. It's kindergarten or play school, and then we have the compulsory level, and upper secondary and higher. It's very similar to that of the other Nordic countries. And the government policy emphasizes inclusion, which means we have a school for all, regardless of their physical or mental state, so that parents can choose if they want their kids enrolled in a regular school. But we also do have segregated classrooms and school. They're still permitted and supported, but the parents can choose. And most institutions are funded by the state and municipalities, but the municipalities are paying for the play schools and the compulsory school, but the state supports upper secondary education. Although the education is mandatory for children aged 6 to 16, there is obliged to offer educational possibilities to all 18 years old and younger. And there is a discussion now if maybe we should make education mandatory up till 18, since children are children according to law until they're 18. And there are lots of thoughts about the educational system, if it's due to start re-evaluating it and maybe changing it up a bit. But that's a whole different lecture, so we'll not go into that now. But this is the parent school community. It's roughly organized like this. We have parents on all these levels, where we have the principal, the school principal is responsible for the school to have parent organizations up and running and parent representatives there. We also have 2 parent representatives on the school board, and then we have the class representatives in each class, and they are connected to the parent organizations. So there should be a flow from up to down there. And here, Home and School, this is our organization, which works on a national basis. It's a national parent organization. And we have a board of representatives from all over the country from these regional parent organizations. And when I talk about regional parent organizations, it's like, for example, in Reykjavik, we have an organization called Samfok, which is for the Reykjavik area. In Akureyri, we have an organization called Samtaka for the Akureyri area. And in this way, we try to stay connected to the grassroots. And these regional parent organizations, they should also be very well connected to their parent organizations in their area. And the policy of Home and School is, we work on many levels, since our organization is a national organization. But the overall goal is really to promote good relationships between homes and schools, since research has shown us that this relationship is very important for the studies and well-being of the student. And it's also, it's very helpful not just to help them with their grades and studies, but also with the well-being, which is of course the basis for studying. And we have a service center in Reykjavik, and we have a helpline which is open from 9 to 4 during office hours. People can call us if they have any questions or problems or anything that they need to discuss, but they can also send emails or Facebook message or whatever. And, but we do also get calls from teachers and principals who also want some advice on this communication. Usually most of the issues we're dealing with revolve around communication. It always boils down to this communication aspect. So we are always trying to advocate respect in communication, and if there are some problems in school, we always have to think of respect first and foremost when talking to each other. And in that way, we're much better equipped to solve the problems that may arise. But here's a quick overview of how this all started, how Home and School, this parent organization, started. It was started in 1992, 27 years ago, and then it was only for the compulsory school level. And then the parents were campaigning for whole day school and school meals. And when I say whole day school, it's because back then there was this disturbing uncertainty whether your child would go to school before lunch or after lunch. And if you had many children, they might be going to school in various times, so parents had to provide daycare, and this was very complicated. And school meals were also something that was not available at that time. These are things that we take for granted today and think, okay, this is just something, of course, this should be a part of the school, but it's not that long ago that it was not the case. But the goal was always to give parents a voice and strive for the well-being of school children and good education. But also back in the 90s when Icelandic teenagers were European champions in drinking, parents had to get a wake-up call, and then the parent walks started. Parent walks is when parents are walking around the neighborhood and seeing if everything's okay, and also showing teenagers that they're around and available if they're needed. And for example, where I live now, there was this dance with 3 schools in the town called Hafnarfjörður near Reykjavik. And then the parent organization organized a parent walk for that evening because they knew the kids would be up and around, and they wanted to make themselves available and also to see if everything was okay. And there had been some vandalism in one of the neighborhoods, so they were specifically walking around there, patrolling the streets. But also the kids like it, and we have made some videos about it where kids are talking about, yeah, we think it provides a sense of security to have them around. And back in 2008, the parent organizations were made mandatory for all school levels, and then our organization started working for kindergarten as well and upper secondary. So now we work on all school levels. We've been doing different projects, and yeah, the outdoor hours that you talked about here earlier, I think I understood right. And also the Parent Convention, a project I will tell you about later on. Parent Bank, it's a project containing ideas for the class representatives, how they can work in their own schools. So lots of different things that parents can use in their work. These are some examples of our projects. Parental consensus and literacy agreement I will tell you about further on, but we do this annual magazine that we publish each fall. Sometimes we do it 2 times a year and send it to our members and to all the schools and libraries. And we just published a new magazine this year, which we are very proud of. And we've been doing handbooks on bullying and friendship training and social skills. When the new national curriculum was published in 2011, we made introductions for parents, which have never been done, but the ministry wanted us to do it because they were changing a lot of things. They were changing the grading system and also the fundamentals that we were working from. And then the Safer Internet project is a very big part of our work, and it also goes very well with this parental work because it's a huge issue with parents and schools, all this all these technological issues. So we do a lot of publishing with that. For example, Young Kids and Smart Devices, a brochure on when your kids are starting to use technology, what they should be thinking of, what the parents should be thinking of, what kind of devices are appropriate, and so on. Yeah, and then we have done these videos for parents along with the Reykjavik Parent Organization and the organization that is working for immigrant children. I'm going to show you one of these. This one has English subtitles.
Uppeldir.
Í dag eru nám og velferð barna sameiginlegt verkefni, samstarf, heimilis og skóla.
Heilt sveitarfélag.
Skólinn er samfélag, þar sem allir hafa hlutverk, ábyrgð og skyldur. Í dag eiga að starfa foreldrafélög í öllum grunnskólum. Foreldrafélagið kýs fulltrúa í skólaráð sem er samráðsvettvangur skólahaldið. Umræða og ákvarðanataka í skólamálum hefur þannig færst nær foreldrum og nemendum. Skólinn er fyrst og fremst fyrir nemendur og skólastarfið miðar að því að tryggja velferð þeirra.
Foreldrar geta hagsmuni barnanna sína og eru sjálfkrafa í foreldrafélaginu. Hvers vegna foreldrafélag? Getur skólinn ekki bara séð þetta?
Jákvætt viðhorf foreldra til skólans og námsins stuðlar að betri líðan, auknu öryggi og betri námsárangri.
Samhentur foreldrahópur er góð foreldraeinelti.
Skólar eiga hins vegar að eiga frumkvæði að góðu samstarfi við alla foreldra. Hlutverk stjórnar foreldrafélagsins og bekkjarfulltrúa er ekki bara að skipuleggja viðburði og útdeila verkefnum, þó ekki megi vanmeta gott páskabingó eða hrekkjavökudiskó til að hrista hópinn saman. Eitt mikilvægasta verkefni foreldra er að ræða saman og skilgreina hvernig þeir haga samstarfinu börnum. Og þar sem foreldrarnir eiga ekki leið í skólann daglega er mikilvægt að þeir fái tækifæri til að hittast og spjalla og líka til að kynnast starfinu í skólanum. Haustfundur foreldra og umsjónarkennara er kjörinn vettvangur til að ræða samstarfið nemendur, upplýsingagjöf og samskipti. Foreldrar ættu einnig að ræða sín á milli uppeldisleg gildi, svo sem svefntíma, útivistartíma og tölvunotkun, afmælisveislur og önnur sameiginleg málefni. Foreldrasáttmáli heimilis og skóla hentar einstaklega vel. Í skólum eru ýmsar hefðir og gott er að foreldrar, nemendur og starfsfólk hafi skýr hlutverk í árlegum viðburðum. Foreldrafélagið á að setja sér starfsreglur, til dæmis hvernig stjórn og fulltrúar foreldra í skólaráð eru kosin. Mikilvægt er að kjósa líka varamenn og tryggja gott samstarf og upplýsingaflæði milli stjórnar og skólaráðsfulltrúa. Góð regla er að halda aðalfund að vori, útbúa starfsáætlun og hóa saman bekkjarfulltrúum að hausti til að ræða verkefnin framundan og ákveða hver gerir hvað. Stjórn foreldrafélags ætti að hitta stjórn nemendafélagsins til að kynnast helstu hagsmunamálum.
Hvað vilt þú gera til að gera skólann betri?
Yeah, that was your Icelandic lesson for the day. Sorry, the subtitles were missing, but anyways, you get the drift. This is a video used for parents, sort of to tell them how they should operate when they are starting their role as a representative in the parent organization. And we have a similar video for the school council. So it's very useful, yeah, in the beginning, and they can find this. We made these videos recently. This is the overall sort of theme. There is no magic, parental involvement matters. We did this with Icelandic Center for Social Research and Analysis, where we used their results. They do these research around teenage behavior in Iceland every other year. And we used the results to make short videos where we were talking about sleep, prevention, schoolwork, parent organizations, technology, many different issues. And this has been used very much with the parent organizations and in parental education. And yeah, you can just run through one of the videos. with this
Við
project.
fylgja tækifæri en líka áskorunir. Við þurfum að skoða hvað börn og unglingar verja tíma sínum í. Við höfum áhyggjur af skjátíma og ofnotkun, hvað áhrif sítengingin hefur svefn og heilastarfsemi og heilsu almennt, og einnig stöndum við frammi fyrir gríðarlegu magni af upplýsingum þar sem erfitt getur verið að greina hvað er satt og rétt.
Rannsóknir sýna að þau ungmenni sem eyða 4 klukkustundum eða meira í skjánotkun daglega eru hlutfallslega líklegri til að sofa of lítið samanborið við nemendur sem eyða minni tíma í skjánotkun.
Það engin töfrar, virkni foreldra skiptir máli.
And we got the minister to give message with a video similar to this, and the director of health, and all these different stakeholders. And this has been quite a success, although we should have used someone else other than this tired woman up there, but that was the only one with English subtitles yet. But those have been quite successful. And this is our new magazine. I brought some copies if someone is interested. It's about digital upbringing, and we did this in collaboration with Vodafone, the telecompany in Iceland. And we are sending this to our members now. So, I keep pushing the computer, but I should be pushing this. This is one of our latest projects, because we're seeing that many students in school have a class chat on social media, usually on Snapchat. And although that can be a lot of fun and interesting to do, so very often the communication goes a bit sideways. And there's some bullying going on there and so on. And the strange thing that we're seeing is that kids, they're saying awful things online to their classmates, but then they come to school and act like nothing happened. And it's a very strange way of communicating, and sort of losing this reciprocity that they should have. So we made this poster along with a teaching module, where the students, they make a class consensus of what is allowed and what not in their class chat, and they themselves, they make the guidelines. So we are not imposing any rules, they do it themselves. And then they put this up in the classroom, and then they're much more likely to follow through. The Parent Awards is one of our bigger projects. This is where we try to lift the positive things being done in the community. We have a board of judges who decide which project will win, but the public sends in announcements of good projects that promote good relationships between homes and schools. And this is sort of a spring festival, and it's always very positive and energetic and gives people a pat on the back for their good work. And we think it's quite important. This is one of our latest projects that we were doing with a singer, actress, Salkasól, she's very popular in Iceland, and Hrefna Sigurjónsdóttir, she's a professor at the university and a specialist in bullying. And we wanted to do this bullying prevention project, where we were focusing on being ahead of the serious bullying cases. And starting with friendship training, and we're doing this with peer-to-peer education, and we have teams in each school that participate. So the project is sort of owned by the school, and it is continuous in the school, and it promotes positive leaders, and it has been very successful. We've been doing this in 5 schools and are doing 5 more, and the feedback has been really good. So we're hoping it will continue. But this is an example of a project that we have been applying for a specific funding through specific funds, and that can be a bit tricky when you're sort of following the money. Then you start all these new projects, and you don't have as much time to focus on the core work. But since we have different venues of funding, this is often the case. We have to apply for new projects. This is the parental consensus I was talking about, and that was used also in the so-called Icelandic model. It's an agreement on common guidelines on what is allowed and acceptable and what is not allowed. We have it for different age levels, the youngest level, mid-level, and the oldest level. And it's all about creating healthy boundaries. For example, for the oldest level, we have things like, we, the parents in this class, pledge that we will not allow unsupervised parties, or we will not buy alcohol for our kids. And we also have things like we pledge to keep our eyes open for bullying and let the school or parents know if we suspect a kid is being bullied or we suspect someone is doing it. And also we discuss online communications with the child and agree on rules and guidelines for appropriate behavior. So various things that parents are thinking about, they meet up in a meeting with the teacher, discuss these 11 points, and they can add the 12th point if they want to have a specific point in there that is not available. And then they hang this poster up in the classroom so everyone can see, including the children. And they get this brochure sent home where they can discuss these points further with the children. And this is very helpful to diffuse the oldest excuse in the book, but everybody else can. No, they can't. We made an agreement about that. And where this has been successful, in the communities where this has been successful, it has been very helpful in making these healthy boundaries and creating a good community for the kids to grow in. And we made a similar project called the Literacy Agreement, where we have also posters and brochures, but we have these 6 points, and this is mostly used for the younger kids about reading. And this is made to help parents engage in reading, because reading is all about training really, and the training mostly happens at home. So there we are trying to get parents interested in how they can help their kids read better. And for example, if they suspect there's something wrong, point 5, seek help, we have it all pointed down in the brochure where they can go, what they should be looking at, and so on. And this was done in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, since reading had been deteriorating a lot, and the reading comprehension going down, which was showed in PISA, and we're quite excited to see how PISA will turn out now, after all this effort. But the new PISA results are supposed to arrive, I think, in December this year. But performance deteriorated a lot, and there was a considerable difference between boys and girls. Boys were much worse off. And in 2006, the results for reading went down dramatically. And what else was happening in Iceland in 2006? Anyone? It was the economic boom. And what happened back then as well? Parents were spending less time with their children, and we were sort of losing the grip in prevention. So all of this holds hand in hand, and we always have to look at society as a whole when we're looking into prevention and trying to change things. This is the SAFT, Safer Internet Project. I want to tell you a bit about it because it's a huge part of our work. SAFT stands for Samfélag, Fjölskylda og Tækni, which means community, family and technology, and it's a part of the European School Net. They have a network called InSafe, and it's part of that, and we've been doing this since 2004. And the overall goal is to promote positive and safe internet use among children and teenagers, but also we are to inform and educate parents of online risks and opportunities. And what we are seeing in relation to prevention, for example, drug safe is going on through the internet now. It's very easy to get hold of drugs. You can just order them like pizza online. At least that's what the police is telling us, that it's quite easy to get hold of it. So parents really need to be aware what is happening online, and just to make sure that they are also looking after their kids in that respect as far as they can, but they need to do it in collaboration with the schools. For example, when there's something going on in the class in the school, bullying or something, usually parents don't know about it. They only see the tip of the iceberg. But the teachers can help out by sending emails to the parents, because usually some of the kids go to them and tell them about it. And that can be very helpful, and then you can open up the discussion at home and diffuse matters quite easily in the beginning. And we have a youth panel with 10 active members, and that's really important to have them because they go through all of our material. We don't publish anything unless they have had their say. We once did, and it completely flopped. So their opinion counts a lot. And this is the No Hate Speech campaign we have. This project is supported by the European Council in part and by the Ministry in half. And it's tackling online hate speech, and it goes really well with the Safer Internet project. Many of you have seen this, the Saman group, right? Saman means together, and we work together with various stakeholders, like other NGOs. And in the Saman group, we meet up every month. We meet the police, we meet the municipality prevention officers, and we meet some people who are doing research, and many other people from other organizations. And it's very important to meet up regularly and talk together about what are the issues now, what do we need to focus on, and so on. But the projects of this group, they did the outdoor hours sort of magnet for the fridge magnet. I think I have it here. Yeah, this one. We sent it out each year, especially, and we do these campaigns around, for example, the Culture Night weekend, the Bank Holiday weekend, reminding parents to have fun together with their kids and know what they're doing, where they are, who they're with, and so on. And also to remind them when this time changes, when the outdoor hours changes, and it changes when the school starts, approximately around that time. And this is a project we did with the Sama group, where we got teenagers to give out positive messages to their parents. We did these videos, and contrary to what many might think, when your teenager slaps the door in your face and says, "Keep out," they want you to get involved. They want you to spend more time together and have fun. And teenagers need to know that they are loved and valued. These were the three main things that came from this project, from teenagers themselves. So they are quite happy to spend some time with their own parents. And we also work in a Nordic collaboration with the NOCO, Nordisk Komité, og Heim og Skúli, here in the Faroe Islands, has been meeting us here in this venue. And we are having the next conference in Iceland in September 2020, and hopefully we'll see some of you there. That's a conference on parental work in the Nordic aspect, where we are focusing on prevention, but also just on parental work in general. And yeah, this. Oh, did I turn it? No. This Icelandic prevention model. I always find it kind of funny, this model label, because we didn't really know we had a model in Iceland. We just discovered it as a model a few years ago when the data started showing up and creating a picture for us. So we weren't really conscious of that we had a specific method before the puzzle came together, so to speak. But there was, of course, emphasis on doing things differently, not doing prevention with scare tactics. They hadn't been working, so we had to do something else. And the emphasis was on using evidence-based procedures in a broad collaboration. So we did not invent some magnificent model. Things just came together when we started trying out different methods and getting everyone involved. And yeah, these were the three main ingredients in this prevention work. Evidence-based practice, working on a community level, not on a whole country approach. You had to see what was going on in specific communities, because in order to change behavior, for example, change behavior of teenagers, you needed to change the environment they were living in. And that involved understanding what predicts adolescents' substance use and using this evidence to strengthen the protective factors while minimizing the risk. So it's very important, and this is being done now with the research from the Icelandic Center for Social Research and Analysis, using specific results for specific communities to change behavior in those communities. And we have been doing lectures, like, well, what would you call it? We've been traveling with ICSRA, the Icelandic Center for Social Research, where they show parents in specific municipalities the results for their town or municipality or whatever, depends on how big it is, the meeting. They introduce the results, and then you can pinpoint what are the main issues here. What do we have to look at here in our respect? For example, maybe is marijuana smoking going up here? Or are teenagers spending less time with their parents here? Or whatever. And then we come and tell the parents what they can do in order to change things. And the last, but not least, dialogue. It's really important to create a dialogue between research, policy and practice, and parents are a very important factor in this work. So we need to get the parents on board, we need to get the grassroots working, and that's why you need to have an organization like Heim og skóli. And this is just an overview, quick overview, connecting all the dots together, what was being done in respect to this prevention work in Iceland. You've probably seen this before, but there you can see what the state did, the municipalities, schools and youth centers, parents and you. So you see, there are many different actors involved in this, and there's no use making research if it just stays in the universities and you don't use it. If it doesn't boil down and come to the people. Like, for example, next week we are going to start educational evenings for parents with the university. The Faculty of Education is working with us and the Reykjavik Parent Organization in offering these evenings for parents where they can come and learn about all sorts of things. Like this first evening we're going to talk about sleep and playing outside and perseverance. And we have people from the university who have been researching this, giving out this knowledge to the people in a very easy manner. And we are streaming this also so people all around Iceland can follow. And there we are connecting the research society to the people. So that's very important. Yeah, and as I said, active dialogue between all stakeholders is key. Research, policy and practice, and maintain balance. That's always the main challenge we face and parents face nowadays, especially with things like technology advances on the rise. Also, all the previous challenges that parents before them had. Believe me, I have a teenager now. I'm facing these challenges, especially the mood swings. But teenagers are fabulous people. But we always have to be involved in their lives, really. And also we have these main risk and protective factors that we have to look into. These are the ones that were found to be the main factors in research. And when you're talking to parents, we always show them this and tell them about the family factors and how much time they spend with their kids. Can be really influential in this respect. And it's also important to know the friends of your children, because the peer group effect is quite strong. You can have good peers, but also bad influences. And then we have the extracurricular activities, and in that respect, it's very important to have an organized leisure time with certified trainers and professionals working with the children as well. And also this general well-being, how they are doing in school and what's going on in their social life. So data shows positive changes the last 20 years, but we're not out of the woods yet. We always have to stay on our toes, and we have to be, like I said, we always have new parents, we have new kids, and we always have to keep the information coming across so that we don't repeat our mistakes and hopefully add something new as well. But this is one of the things that we feel we are facing now. I'm not sure, it's probably because we were talking about krise and well-being here before. I mean, this is an issue in relation to that. Stress is an issue. We have many parents who feel really stressed. There's a societal call in Iceland. People want to shorten the work week. We work a lot, and then there's not much time to do something fun with your family. And also, these are long working hours for children, and we've been talking about especially children in kindergarten. They have very long working hours. They're staying maybe from 9 to 5 in kindergarten, and that's a lot of pressure for young children. People want to create a more child and family-friendly community, and parents feel that they also need to be perfect in all respects. So when we are talking about parental cooperation, we also have to be mindful not to make parents feel that they're not doing enough. They're doing the best they can, and we try to show them ways in which they can do things even easier for themselves, but also better for them and their children. So we think there's more need for parenting education. We can do some of it, but not all. And we need to discuss changing the schools in that respect, because they are the centers where the parents meet, where the children meet. And that's the key to educate parents, because, for example, my family just got a puppy, and I have to go to the seminar to train this puppy and get a certificate that I did this puppy training and that he's okay to be around with. But parents don't need to go to a parent training seminar, but we do this with dogs. Why should parents be prepared to be parents? Nobody is born a perfect parent. We need to learn, and we need to get information to do it as well as we can, especially if we have some baggage from the past to work with. So the role of school is changing, and they need to support parents in their parenting, and we need to redefine this relationship between homes and schools, not just because of this, but also because of many other things. So the old saying still applies. It takes a village to raise a child. It's something that we as a community do together. And in regard to the stress issue, it's not just a thing for government and schools and NGOs to solve. The work market has to come into it as well, because the well-being of families is something that the economy builds upon, and the work market needs to be working with us in this. But together we can make a difference. That's what we think. But that's all, I guess. Takk fyrir.
Thank you very much, Hrefna. I would like to ask you a question, if that's okay. I think we need to go back up. It's everything for the videos.
Okay.
You were talking a lot about data. You've collected data for a long time. What kind of data are we talking about? Do you ask the children, or is it criminal data? Where do you get your data?
Mostly from the Icelandic Center for Social Research and Analysis that I was talking about. And they've been doing this research for a long time now. And they ask the children. And they do these research in schools. So they are allowed to ask the children from time to time about various issues. And they add questions according to, for example, technology. They've been asking about sleep, because children aren't sleeping enough. And it seems that technology is a factor in that. And they ask about well-being, bullying, but also, so they ask about mental health, but also about substance abuse and a lot more.
Do they ask parents as well? It sounds like a lot of parents are a bit helpless. They don't know how to help.
Yeah, they mostly ask the kids. Their research is mostly focused on that. But there is also research asking the parents from time to time. For example, when we, a couple of years ago, had research with the SAFT project, we were asking both parents and kids about their technical views, and it was very interesting to compare the answers, because kids, they overestimate their knowledge, and parents usually underestimate, I guess, their knowledge. So there's a gap between there. But unfortunately, we don't have new research on that with the SAFT project, but hopefully the EU Kids Online, we have that research. We're hopefully going to participate in that.
I'd like to thank you, and I hope that the vanliga att next fatt man finns en gång ska till kampen göra att. Thank you very much.